Good morning. Welcome to Meditating with John Vervaeke. I'm a cognitive psychologist and a cognitive scientist at the University of Toronto, where I teach about and do academic and scientific research on mindfulness and related topics like insight, flow, mystical experience, transformative experience, higher states of consciousness, the aspiration to enlightenment, the cultivation of wisdom. I've been practicing Vipassana meditation, metta contemplation, Tai Chi Chuan, Qi Kung for over 29 years and teaching them for close to 20 years. Welcome. This is a progressive course. Every Monday is a Dharma day. Every Monday we have met and I teach a new principle, a new practice that builds on previous principles and practices. So if you're joining us for the first time, you're welcome to join us, but please check the description for links to previous lessons and sets. Tuesday through Friday, we meet together at 9:30 EST, and I do some reviews sometimes, and then we sit together, and then there's Q&A. In fact, at the end of every Monday through Friday, there's Q&A. Questions you might have at the end of this lesson about anything I've taught you, please keep the questions limited to the set of practices that I've been teaching in this course. For broader, more encompassing questions, please join us on the YouTube live stream, live Q&A, which will be this May the 15th is what I'm trying to say. It'll be May the 15th, which I believe is this Friday, and it'll be at 3 p.m. Eastern time. So I've been discussing with Amar how we're going to proceed going forward, because yesterday's Dharma Day was the last teaching session for the introductory course. We're going to continue meeting, but what we're going to do going forward is the following. We're going to alternate between, so every second Monday, not every Monday now, but every second Monday will be a Dharma Day, and I will teach a new, more advanced technique. I'm going to start alternating Dharma days, and so one Monday will just be a sit day, and then the next Monday will be a Dharma day, then a sit day, then a Dharma day. Of course, Tuesday to Friday will stay the same, just meeting and sits. We're getting a lot of requests to people who are coming into the course. I believe lesson one has like close to 5,300 views. Catch up. So we're going to slow down the pace so they can catch up. Secondly, even if you've been following me for this 10 weeks, I've taught you a lot. I want to slow down the pace so that you guys can also assimilate and accommodate. All right, so that the more advanced techniques or supplementary techniques have a more developed structure that they can adhere to and belong to. Okay, so we'll keep announcing this, but we're definitely going forward. What's a couple other announcements? As I mentioned, the views. That reminds me that we really need you guys to like this video stream as much as possible. That raises its visibility for the YouTube algorithm, and that helps the outreach, helps more people see the video series and have the opportunity to cultivate this very vital and important set of practices. Okay, I think that's all of the announcements. I'll just review what we talked about yesterday, and also answer sort of a couple of questions that I did forewarn about, but let's do it more explicitly. So we're moving towards prajna, this dynamically self-organizing form of self-liberating intelligence, consciousness, wisdom. And it involves three things. It involves the deepest vipassana on an in-breath, to break frame, the deepest metta, an out-breath. The deepest vipassana on an out-breath as you're really breaking frame, the deepest metta on an in-breath as you're really making frame, and the movement for cognitive flexibility between them. Reminder that because you're training a cognitive flexibility that you probably have not developed that much, the depth of the metta and the depth of the vipassana will be quite shallow. They deepen over time. So first what happens is they deepen over time, you get that flexibility, and then they start happening in parallel, and then you get simultaneity, you get prajna, non-duality, which is the place that is optimal for our deepest kinds of insightful adaptivity, all the rights, the right-handedness, the optimal gripping of the world. Some of you said it felt intuitively obvious to do the reverse. And I did mention that the way I had explained prajna was the case for about 80% of the people. I've been teaching this for a long time. This ratio is pretty reliable, but 80% of the people, you're doing metta on the in-breath and vipassana on the out-breath. But for about 20%, it seems intuitively the other way, because they're not so much feeling the expansion of the chest, they're feeling the flow of the breath. And so when they're inhaling, right, they want to do vipassana. And when they exhale, because the breath is going out, they want to do metta. That's fine. That's the 20% I was talking about. So experiment with which one that's with you. And that's the way you should practice. Okay? All right, so remember, go into this, do basic vipassana, then, right, do some basic metta, but try to deepen the metta, deepen the vipassana. The order of this is, you can flip those around if you want. Always start with the basic the basic vipassana. You might then want to go first into deeper vipassana and then go into deep metta, or you want to do basic vipassana, deep metta, deep vipassana. That's fine, as long as you always start with the basic vipassana to answer another bunch of questions. And then once you've remembered the taste of the depth of metta and the taste of the depth of vipassana, begin the prajna practice. Always remembering, being especially vigilant to not hyperventilate. Everything results the same. When there are distractions, stand back and label it with an ing word. Apply the 5 factors of inquiring mindfulness, the 3 principles of how you work with distraction. Return to your breath, and then go back into prajna. All right? Okay, so please set your phones to do not disturb. Please get yourself in a comfortable position, and we will begin when I say begin. Begin. Slowly begin to come out of your practice, trying as best you can to integrate what you cultivated in your practice with your everyday consciousness and cognition, perhaps by reciting the 5 promises to yourself. So we have time for just a few questions today, Tuesday and Thursday. We have a pretty sharp. This is from the Mad Truth. Hello again. When doing metta, is it important to picture and recite, or is it okay just to feel? I find I can't get a clear picture often, and sometimes the word can be distracting. No, that's fine. If you're just getting the feeling of that sense of being connected to that person and bringing that connection, like you basically, it's like the 5 factors. You're turning it from an unconscious static connection into a conscious unfolding living relation. And then if you're doing that primarily through feeling, that is fine. It's very, very good doing it that way. Okay. So like I said, we only had time for like 1 question today. We will take a whole bunch of questions tomorrow. I'll try and take extra questions on Wednesdays to make up for the fact that for scheduling reasons, Tuesdays and Thursdays we have to end, bring everything to completion no later than 10. So save some of your questions till tomorrow, and I promise to get to them. And remember, for more encompassing questions, there's the 15th. I want to thank you all for joining. I want to thank my dear friend and technomage, Amar. He's always helping, always solving problems for me. I really, really depend on him, and he's always there for me reliably. My beloved son, Jason, I want to thank you again for building the community you're building, the conversation and the way you're making connections on the chat and reaching out to each other and supporting each other is wonderful. The Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, they're all interdependent. And you guys are doing a fantastic job on that. Keep it up. Please subscribe to this channel to be noticed of any further videos. And also on the channel, you'll find links to lots of videos, either Awakening from the Meaning Crisis, like lecture style, or Voices with Vervaeke discussion style, where we explore a lot of these themes in much more detailed depth and comprehensiveness. Please invite others to the practice. Help me to help as many people as I can now in these difficult times. A reminder, we're doing this every weekday morning at 9:30 Eastern Time. Continuity of practice, more important than quantity of practice. There is no enemy worse than your own mind. There is no ally, no friend greater than your own mind. Take care, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow.